What's good, YouTube? It's Money Man. Coming at you on another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over how Ken Carson's upcoming album, Morecast, is set to be dropping in early 2025, alright? Let's get into it. So, as many of you guys do know, Ken Carson did do an article with Pitchfork magazine. It's actually a pretty good article. I suggest everybody to read it because it's a pretty good read. This reporter went on tour with Ken for a couple shows and he just kind of documented the lifestyle, asked Ken a couple questions, observed the fans, what the shows are like. Now, it is a pretty long article, so I did highlight the more important parts, as you guys can see, but the most important thing that we did find from this article is regarding Morecast, an update on Morecast. When is the album dropping, right? And they said in the article, at the beginning of next year, he will release his highly anticipated fourth album, Morecast, which is still in the works. Now, this article was taking place on the first leg of the tour when he was at Atlanta, New York, and Virginia, I believe. So around summer 2024, I believe, was when this article was taking place. So they did say which is still in the works. Now, obviously, we were anticipating a Halloween October 31st release. That didn't go down. Now, we did get Delusional, which has been on a repeat 24/7. I've been playing that song like crazy. That's been one of my favorite Ken songs to drop in a long time. Ken went crazy on Delusional, but we obviously didn't get the album. Everybody was like, so when's the album gonna drop? Everybody was thinking maybe November, maybe mid-November. He maybe pushed it back a couple weeks, but it looks like it will be going down as of 2025 and in the beginning of next year. So I'm thinking beginning of next year, early 2025. I'm thinking more so Q1 25, equaling out to January, February, or March. That's gonna be Q1 of 2025. So my opinion is probably going to end up around there. And then this is the article where they talked about Morecast in details. It's actually a pretty funny article because he kind of made fun of the Opium fans. He threw a little jab at Lone and Homicide Gang. So I kind of just highlighted the more important parts of the article. This was obviously regarding to Morecast, what we just saw on this post right here. But then if we go down, what did I highlight? Out of their camp has some of the most innovative and bold Atlanta rap of the 2020s. Whole Lotta Red and AGC, as well as some music that is straight up uninspired, gimmicky. Say hi to Destroy Lonely's Love Lasts Forever. As call time nears, member of the Opium JV team, including Bino and Michi of Homicide Gang, pull up to the studio. Bro, why do you have to throw a jab at Lone and Homicide? He called Homicide Gang the JV Opium team. That is so messed up, bro. And then he just straight up destroyed Lone's last album, saying it's straight up uninspired and gimmicky. So that was that. I highlighted. I thought that was pretty funny. Then the reporter starts to describe what he was thinking regarding the shows and the fan base. He says his shows are hyper masculine live spectacles where guys still waiting for their beards to connect, bump shirtless chests, and supposedly impress girls by smoking an F-ton of weed. So that's how he described a Ken Carson show. This reporter got jokes, I'm not gonna lie. He was pretty funny. And then they talk about why Ken Carson wears the upside down cross. Y'all can go into that. Then he says backstage security guards shouting out into two radios clear space for Ken to bounce through the tunnel like a boxer heading out for a title fight to face a sold out crowd of half naked bros, ATL black kids wearing ripped skinny jeans, and white suburban teens decked out in Rick and Balenciaga. So he went in on the Ken Carson fans. He threw shade at Lone and Homicide Gang. I wonder if Ken read this entire article before it was published, because I don't think he would have signed off on that jab on Lone and Homicide Gang, to be quite honest. I do think it was kind of just like poking fun. I don't think it's taken that seriously. And then they spoke on Morecast. They said the tour has been so non-stop that Ken is in a race to finish Morecast. The album he hopes will bring him a step closer to being spoken about in the same breath as the Atlanta Big Three, Future, Thug, and Carti. Ken grabs his comfort pink blanket and locks in. It's 3 p.m. He records until the sun goes down prior to the show. And then he said, of the few more Chaos tracks I heard, it's not too far off from the sound of AGC, but pushed even further. The grunts you can hear on a song like Me and My Cup have turned into all-out heaving, and there's more emphasis on the bludgeoning take on the vintage trap sound. So it looks like I said, I'm pretty sure we all knew this with the snippets. Like Ken has kind of done the AGC sound, but took it up a notch. Like we've seen that with Delusional. More so the songs are gonna kind of sound like Me and My Cup. It's gonna sound like Fighting My Demons. It looks like he's gonna lean heavy more towards that grunge rap trap type of sound that he gave us on AGC. I describe it as AGC on steroids just from the snippets we've gotten. These beats are like ridiculous, and the reporter said it's the same thing, AGC, but pushed even further. So that's regarding Morecast, what the sound is going to sound like. And then what else did he say? As the set winds down, a bearded man in Chaos merch sprints across the stage, headed right for Ken. Before he can get there, Dre hits him with a gold Goldberg spear. So I'm guessing Dre is his bodyguard. His bodyguard just straight up speared this dude running towards Ken. He probably wanted a picture, none crazy, but he hit him with that spear. So that's kind of the more important parts and the funny parts that I dissected from this article with Pitchfork. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good read. I suggest everybody to read it front to back. Basically, the most important piece of information is regarding when we could see more chaos, and that is going to be early 2025, beginning of next year. In my opinion, I'm thinking Q1 2025. January, February, or March of 2025 is when we could most likely see it. And from what they said right here, when they said more cats, which is still being in the works. Now, he was interviewing Ken at the first leg of the tour, like I said, at the New York, Virginia, and Atlanta tour stops. So this was probably written in summer of 2024, saying, which is still in the works. In my opinion, probably the majority of the album is already finished. I know he recorded a bunch of songs on tour. He's still on tour right now, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna gear up to finish this album. Maybe like November, December, have the album ready, but probably by the New Year's, and then get into a rollout, and then we could see it beginning of next year. And with us finding out that Ken's not dropping in 2024, I think this all points towards a Carti release, right? Carti 2024 music, I think, is going down. Somebody said, Hold My Hand said, Carti has to be dropping then, right? Because we're all thinking Uzi just snuck in an album basically on November 1st. When was Ken gonna drop? We're all thinking maybe he was gonna more so drop within like mid-November, and then Carti would have started his album rollout probably late November, early December. But I think Carti's rollout is realistically gonna start next weekend or in 2 weeks, when this Camp Flog Gnaw Complex Con weekend goes down, right? Because he has a show on Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and the 17th. That's when Carti comes back, and there's basically no one else to drop an album from the Opium camp. Lone dropped. Ken's not dropping till next year. I don't really know about Homicide Gang. Uzi already dropped. We're not really looking towards any major releases. Tyler just dropped. I'm pretty sure everybody has dropped. The majority, the major artists have come through. Ye's been dropped. I think the next person to drop a big album is Carti, and there's nobody going to steal the spotlight from him. And I think this album rollout is going to gear up mid-November and start during this weekend. He comes back on the 16th and the 17th, basically a couple days away. Next weekend, Carti has 2 shows back to back. You know he's going to post on the Opium spam account, and I think he's going to get back active post these 2 shows. And I think that's when the real I Am Music rollout is gonna go down. Like we've been saying, you know, the rollout's been dead, but this whole year hasn't really been the rollout. It kind of has, kind of hasn't. It's kind of been like a big question mark for the Carti fans. Is Carti gonna drop the album this time? He's got the NBA teams co-signing him. That had to be the real rollout, right? Obviously, no album came about that. The whole January, February run, that was crazy. But I think 2024, it's going down. Swamp Izzo said it's not 2025. In the Billboard article, Carti said it's dropping this year. So we're leaning towards mid-November. And if you remember, Whole Lotta Red dropped on the last Friday of 2020. And he started the actual rollout mid-November, or like the early 20s of November. So I think the Complex Con Camp Flog Gnaw weekend might be the start of the real rollout, where Carti's really gearing up. He puts out snippets, maybe goes on live, drops a fit pic, not on spam, but on the real page. And then like, this is the real rollout that leads up to an actual album dropping, and not just Carti going ghost for another 2 months, right? That's my opinion. Ken Carson's dropping Q1 2025, beginning of the next year, and I think that leads to a 2024 Playboi Carti album release. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's Money May or Zit, and I'm out. Thank you guys.